Hello, welcome to this episode of the Investor.Exchange Zoom course with me, Mark Laudi. So, we've covered all of the technical basics, but there's one thing that you still need to know about, and that is your internet connection. Now, if you're holding the meeting and all of a sudden, what happened there? Was the internet down? You see, your internet connection is critically important. All the production values in the world aren't going to make a difference if people outside of your office can't see you. So let's talk about what you need to know in terms of your internet connection. The first thing is that you should have a good connection in the office. Ideally, at least a 500 megabit per second connection, better still 1 gigabit. Be careful, often the connection you actually get isn't as high. So go to one of the websites here on the screen and test your internet in the office where you are going to hold your Zoom AGM, and ideally at the same time of day so that you have some idea whether the amount of bandwidth being drawn at that time is able to accommodate your internet connection. Generally speaking, you need about 12 to 15 or 16 megabits per second of a connection. Now that doesn't sound like much when you've then got a 500 megabit per second or perhaps even 1 gigabit per second connection. But there's a lot that goes on in the background that you must be aware of. For example, what happens if there are lots of people on the internet in your office at the time of your AGM? Maybe they're watching Netflix, YouTube, they're transferring large files. All of those things are going to reduce the amount of bandwidth that you have available for your Zoom AGM. Also, there are often people who want to watch the AGM from within the office. Now, in general, having 1 or 2 people watch internally isn't going to be too bad. But as soon as you've got 20, 30, 50 people who are relying on the same internet connection coming in, as is the stream going out, you can imagine just how little bandwidth there is available for you to actually run your AGM. So please be sure that 1, you have a good internet connection, 2, you've tested it to make sure that you've got as much bandwidth as you need. And 3, ideally tell people in the office not to watch the AGM or any other videos or Netflix for that matter while the AGM is in session. You can also use the Zoom testing service to see just how good a connection you have. In general, you just go to zoom.us/test and then you click to join the test meeting like so. There we go. This is what it then looks like. And you can then test your internet connection to see whether your Zoom lens actually works, whether your Zoom connection then is the same connection that you want. So that's for testing on Zoom. A few other points to note where your internet connection is concerned. First and foremost, sit close to the router. Now, ideally, you would actually have an old-fashioned Ethernet cable that plugs into your laptop on one end and plugs into your router on the other end. That way you can be sure that your Wi-Fi isn't overloaded and you have the fast internet connection. If you don't have an Ethernet cable anymore on your PC, they've become quite a rarity. Make sure you get yourself one of these adapters. It plugs into your USB port and connects to the Ethernet that way. And last but not least, please restart your computer before the AGM, usually half an hour before. That way you can make sure that any programs that you had running earlier in the day are shut down, that the cache is cleared, as they say, and your computer has a fresh start. Often that makes a huge difference as to whether your camera, your microphone, and all those other things we talked about in the previous episodes actually work. Now, we've got all the technical bits together. What else do we need to think about? Yes, what do you look like on camera? What's your appearance like? Watch for the next episode of the Investor.Exchange Zoom course.